Hi everyone, this is Kamal the Builder. How are you today? I'm excited about this subject. A lot of people haven't thought through this, but I do want to share some important points with you today. So, have you ever wondered what it's like to work with a general contractor? What are the do's and don'ts? What are the important things as you find a good general contractor and work with them? So, let me describe some of the do's and don'ts and some of the things to keep in mind. One important thing is engage as early as possible so that while you're doing the design and while your architect's working closely with you, the general contractor will help you economize your project and make it fit your budget. And they'll have lots of important insights because a general contractor has been building, whereas an architect mostly does drawing. So that's very important. Another important thing to do with a general contractor is to be transparent and realistic about both your budget and your schedule. For example, sometimes customers have brought me to a project and they've said, I want all this done in 3 months. And I tell them, really? Have you done this before? How do you know that it takes 3 months to do this? What if it takes 6 months to do this? And customers also say, I have this much budget and I want to fit this budget within this time frame. And I scratch my head and I say, well, I can do it if you can find somebody else to do it, but this is not realistic. You have to get real. You have to be realistic so you're not disappointed. So these things are very important, to be transparent with your general contractor about what you need and be realistic so that the general contractor can provide you with feedback. Will this fit your budget? Will this fit your time frame? Certain things are sequenced, certain things can be done in parallel, certain things can be optimized, certain things cannot be optimized. So the job of a general contractor is to work with you and give you that feedback so that you know what can be done and what cannot be done. Something else that's important as you work with a general contractor is to understand your costs up front. A good general contractor will provide you with details on where the major costs are. Are major costs of your project going into the foundation? Are they going into utility connections and trenching? Are they going into framing? In some cases, are they going into finishes? And a general contractor will help you work through these things so that you fit your budget. There are no surprises. The last thing we need is you start a project and your costs go out of control and you end up running out of money and your project basically sits idle. We don't want that. You don't want that. It's not good for anyone. Definitely not good for the general contractor. The other thing you want to do with a good general contractor is to specify the material up front so you know the material costs and the labor costs up front so that you can stay to your budget. The general contractor can deliver to your budget. If you start making these changes, start specifying more expensive material down the road, you'll exceed your budget. I see that happen. Customers start with a project and then they change the materials halfway through the project and they start to run out of money. That creates unnecessary stress for the customer and the general contractor. So that's another thing to think about. Also, plan up front. If you can figure out your finishes and the big budget items up front, and the contractor should guide you. These are the big budget items. Let's figure these out up front. Get these out of the way. If something impacts your project, if something comprises 33% of your overall project costs, it's a bigger change if you make changes there than something that comprises 1% of your project costs. That 1% can change to 2% or 3%, you'll be okay. But something that's 33% of your budget now becomes 1.5 times, now that'll have an impact to your project. So if you plan up front with your general contractor, then this will not happen. Finally, also make timely decisions. A bunch of things are sequenced and a bunch of things also have lead times. If you need it, for example, if you need to buy tile for your bathrooms and your showers, tiles usually have a lead time. If it takes you 2 weeks to get a certain tile shipped from Southern California or longer shipped from the East Coast or even longer shipped from overseas, it's going to take that much time. So build that into your plan so that by the time we bring the tile guys to start installing tile, all the material is in place. Same thing applies to appliances, faucets, plumbing finishes, and electrical fixtures. These things have lead times, so consider those. Lead times are different for each of these. Consider those so that you have all the material ready to go when the contractor wants to install these. Couple other things to keep in mind. The contractor has to make a profit. If you're making changes rapidly and somebody has to pay for those changes, the contractor, if the contractor pays for those changes, it kills their profit, digs into their profit. You don't want that, because you want them to be motivated, involved, engaged with your project. So don't try to change too many things that will cost the contractor a dent in their profit and their margin. Changes cost money for you, and you should also know when to change. If you change things up front in the project when you're working with the architect, or right after that, the changes don't cost you as much money as they do when you change them further down the project. You've built half the project, now you want to change things, it costs you a whole lot of money to do that. I give people the example of putting a charger plug for your electric vehicle in the garage. When you're building the garage, building the home from scratch, it costs about $400 to do that. After you've built the house and now you want to do that, the same thing costs you about $3,000. So if you planned up front and put that into your plan, you'll save a lot of money by doing that. That's just one example. Also understand that as you talk to different general contractors and get bids from them, the lowest bid is the one that's most likely to get you into trouble. So try to be very careful about accepting the lowest bid. Is the cheapest guy who's giving you the lowest bid, who's likely underbidding on the job, and will likely get into financial trouble and will likely get you into trouble as well. So something to be very careful about. We have another video where we talk about contractor red flags. We describe that in more detail in that. So hopefully I've provided you with some good information about working with a general contractor. Hopefully you found this useful. You can contact me at the links in this video. You can also go to Kamal the Builder on YouTube, subscribe to us and ring the bell so that you're notified as we post more videos. Thanks so much.